So this is our April Communication Access Connect, and this week we have a guest speaker who's going to talk to us all about some assistive technology ideas that he has and
Mhm.
does and uses with people. It's pretty fun and exciting. But before we begin that, before I introduce him, I want to give the floor to, or the screen, to Judy, and she's going to talk about some upcoming events that DVU is involved in.
Hi, everybody. Good to see you all. I wanted to let folks know, in case you don't know and you're living under a rock, because it's been everywhere, that DVU is hosting rallies next week, 9 rallies across the state of California to urge the Congress to vote against massive cuts to Medicaid. And so, in case you don't know, the Congress has both the Senate and the House of Representatives have voted to cut about $880 billion over 10 years from Medicaid. Medicaid funds many things. It funds health insurance through Medi-Cal. It funds special education services like speech therapy and occupational therapy. It funds things like uh, Department of Rehabilitation and Regional Center Services. It funds IHSS as well. So these kinds of cuts would mean drastic cuts to our daily services for people with developmental disabilities and communication disabilities, and it could be very devastating to us. So we are having 9 rallies across the state, everywhere from Palm Desert to Anaheim to Bakersfield, Modesto, Rockland, which is outside of Sacramento. We're doing it up in Chico, in Clovis, outside of Fresno. I'm sure I think I got most of them, but not all of them. One in Santee, near San Diego. So the flyers have been put in the chat, I believe. Um,
Mhm.
and we really, really urge you to attend. What I've been saying to everybody is I know that everybody has lots of concerns right now. I mean, we certainly do. We talk about, access to communication, and we talk about regional centers accountability and and school accountability. But everybody needs to stop what they're doing right now and focus on this. Because if these cuts go through, all of that won't matter, because what will end up happening is that programs will close. We will not be able to hire workers because we will get far fewer hours for IHSS and supported living. People will potentially become institutionalized because there's not enough services for them to live individual lives. It will be a devastating effect. We believe that many people will lose their lives as well because they will not get the access to healthcare and supports that they need. So everybody, if you haven't yet signed up to be at a rally, please come. I can tell you William Del Rosario, who's going to be presenting today. William is going to be one of our speakers at a rally in Anaheim as a constituent for a member of Congress. And so please join us. It is really important to get a big turnout and call your members of Congress and urge them to oppose these cuts. Thank you.
Hey, Judy, oh, sorry. Do you have, or Gilda can maybe answer this too. Oh, you're still here. Okay.
Yeah.
I have one question. What do people, can people expect to do when they go to a rally?
Oh, that's a great question. So at the rally, it's going to start, most of them are going to start with making posters and signs for you to say, don't cut my Medicaid, or a lot of people, we're also giving out these stickers. Hold on, I'll get one for you to show you. We are giving out these awesome stickers that say, I am not waste, fraud, or abuse. Because a lot of people, oh, thank you for putting that in the chat. That is awesome. Please copy that and make that your profile picture on your social media if you have social media. Because what they're saying is people who are using Medicaid are waste, fraud, or abuse. And so we're going to be making posters, and then we're going to be hearing speakers. There are speakers who are presenting in all 9 of the rallies. They are people with disabilities, family members, service professionals, regional center heads. We are uniting with the entire disability community and beyond for this. And then you'll hear speakers, and then at a certain point, a group of constituents of that member's office is going to walk over and try to meet with the member of Congress. And while they're doing that, the rest of us will be continuing to chant. And then we will, and then the rally will continue and end at 1. So it starts at 11:30, but 11:30 to 12 is when we're going to be gathering and making posters. And the rally will begin from 12 to 1.
Are you making posters there, or people bring posters?
Both.
Oh,
So
okay.
we urge you to bring your own posters. We're not going to have that many posters to make, but to bring your own posters. We're going to have pre-made posters that we're working with a big Fight for a Health coalition. So we'll have lots of posters made, but also people may want to have their own special messages.
Okay. Great. I see that Nedra has the hand up. Can you answer a question?
Hmm?
Your time? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's bring Nedra in.
Hi, yes. Hi, guys. How are you doing?
Great.
Good.
Good. My two questions are, one, I noticed that there was an email that was sent out for the rallies, but none of them is close to me. They're very far and I don't drive. Wanting to know if they're going to have something locally that I can attend. I live in Fullerton. And then my second question is, I received a link last week was to call in for the representatives. Unfortunately, my links that I received like 4 of them. None of them were accessible. I could not get through to anyone. They just says page not found. So I was just wondering if I can have that information again so I can continue to do my part in advocating for no cuts to our benefits for our children and our loved ones.
So Nedra, you are in a very important area if you live in Fullerton, because you live in the district of Congresswoman Young Kim. And Young Kim is one of the members that we are really targeting. And you do not live that far from Anaheim Hills where the event is happening.
Okay.
So however you can get there, whether it's through a bus access, an Uber, we're providing some bus transportation, but from very, very far away places. And so like we're bringing a bus from Los Angeles to Bakersfield.
Okay.
It's not far from you, I promise. And gosh, if you're going to be there, maybe you'll get a chance to even speak at the microphone because you're a constituent, Nedra.
Oh, perfect. And when is this rally will be held?
So the one in Anaheim is going to be on the 22nd, on a week from today at 11:30.
Okay,
It's in the
perfect. I
chat
will
right
be
now.
there.
Yeah. I hope we'll see you there, Nedra. Please be in touch with our office because if you are there, we'd love for you to speak as a constituent.
You
Okay?
got it. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great. All right. Okay, Gilda.
I would just want to add that if Judy leaves, I will be here for the entirety
Okay. Yeah,
of
thank
the
you.
training. So I'll be here to answer any questions as well.
Perfect. Great. Well, thank you, Judy,
Thanks, everybody.
for getting that important message out. All right, so let's get started because I'm very excited about today. I mean, I'm passionate about Medicaid services being continued, but I'm very excited. Prior to this Medicaid life we're living, I invited Mr. Gil Addison to be with us today, and Gil is an assistive technology specialist with PathPoint, and you guys are in Santa Barbara, I believe, if I put it in my head the right way. Is that right? Yep.
Yeah.
And so, and he works with some of the clients that I have as well. And he follows us here at DVU. I see his name sometimes in our groups. So finally got him scheduled in the calendar here, and we get to hear from him. So I'm going to have you take it over, Gil, and
All
we
right.
can put questions in the chat, and we can we'll get back to, well, like usual, we'll do the chat as it comes along. And I'm sorry, but I didn't introduce, well, I didn't introduce us, William. Sorry, because I'm so used to people knowing us and I just wanted to get on with this. William's up there, you guys.
Introduce yourself.
Okay, there's William. All right, do you want to introduce yourself, William? Sorry. Here we go. Go for it, William.
Hello, my name is William Del Rosario, and I am a Hispanic Filipino male in my 20s with short black hair, brown eyes, and I wear glasses. I'm an intern with DVU and a multimodal communicator who uses augmentative and alternative communication, or AAC, via typing and my iPad. Thank you for making the time to be here.
Thanks, William.
Thank you.
And I'm Darlene Hanson, and I'm the empowerment team coordinator and work on training here with DVU. And I do these Tuesday once a month meetings with us. And I am a 60-ish woman with shoulder length gray hair and wearing red glasses, a white woman. And that's about it for me. Thank you for being here. And we also have with us Eric is doing our tech behind the scenes here. So if you have any questions or concerns about your tech issues, put them in the chat for Eric. And then we have our Spanish speaking interpreters in the background here as well. And they will be putting in any questions that you have and translating them for myself and anybody else who needs to have them translated into English. Okay, now we bring you Gil Addison. Thanks, Gil.
All right, thank you, Darlene. Well, I'm Gil Addison. I'm Latino, black hair, and black frame glasses. Is there anything I should add to that?
Yeah, your PathPoint. That's all right.
I'm with PathPoint, and I've been at PathPoint for, this is my 26th year. And I've pretty much grown up in a program called Community Access Project, which served a lot of people with disabilities, mainly in wheelchairs. So I always had to really think outside the box to figure out ways to support the people that I was working with. And so that's kind of how all the assistive technology came to be. A lot of the individuals that I've worked with over the years have really they've trained me to be in this position. So I'm deeply grateful for that opportunity to impact their lives, but also them impacting mine. So today I'm going to talk about assistive technology and the importance of assistive technology. And I will take you through a PowerPoint, 15-slide PowerPoint, not too long, but along the way, we will discover what assistive technology offers. So I will share my screen. Let's see. And we're going over into share portion and sound. There we go. I'm going to go into presenter view. Can you guys all see that? There we go. So, everyone good? All right. So, assistive technology. This is an introduction to assistive technology. So, what is assistive technology? Well, assistive technology is, or AT, comprises of a range of specialized tools and devices designated to empower individuals with disabilities, enabling them to manage their surroundings, communicate effectively, and achieve greater independence. So, we are going to start off with Jamie. We're going to meet Jamie, and this is assistive technology in action. So we'll begin with a real story of how assistive technology changes lives. In this video, you'll see Jamie using an iPad with a switch and mounting system to communicate and learn.
Oh, bye.
All right, so I think there was a little stuttering in that video there. Not sure why, but the video is on our PathPoint website. So if you wanted to, I could send you guys the link. So that was Jamie. She's done a lot of great things in assistive technology, and she's basically still training me. Like, so she's just amazing. So now we'll look at some types of AT. So we'll look at some high tech, which refers to electronic devices and software that assist in daily lives of individuals with disabilities. And then we'll also look at some low tech. This refers to non-electronic devices or tools that assist in daily lives of individuals with disabilities. Why are we There we go. Something's a little weird. So here's some high tech. We have tablets, iPads, Android tablets. We have hearing aids that help individuals listen and hear. We have electric wheelchairs that provide mobility. And we also have alternative communication devices, or, again, iPads, tablets, things like that, that run communication software. Here are some low-tech options. So we have pencil holders, pencil grips. We have AAC buttons, momentary switches that allow you to click and choose items on an iPad or other types of electronic mechanisms. We also have magnifiers, different types of magnifiers, magnifier screen readers, things like that. And of course, we also have wheelchair ramps, accessibility for different types of environments. In terms of assistive technology devices, we have iPads and iPhones, Apple Watches and Android tablets, phones provide essential support for individuals with disabilities through various accessibility features. These devices offer customized settings like voice control, screen readers, voiceover, magnification, speech to text, or text to speech, enabling users with mobility, vision, hearing, or cognitive impairments to interact with technology. For example, iPads and iPhones can be paired with assistive apps, while the Apple Watch offers haptic feedback and for notifications and much more. Android devices provide similar features, and both platforms support assistive technology like switches and mounts. Together, these devices promote independence, communication, and daily task management, helping individuals with disabilities lead more autonomous lives. Okay. Next, we have assistive technology communication apps. Communication apps like Proloquo, TouchChat, Chatterboards, and LAMP Words for Life provide crucial support for individuals with speech and language impairments. These apps use symbol-based interfaces or text-to-speech technology to help users communicate more easily. Proloquo to Go and TouchChat offer customizable vocabulary and intuitive designs, making communication accessible for people with various disabilities. Chatterboards allows users to create personalized communication boards, while LAMP for Words for Life helps individuals with motor planning challenges develop spontaneous speech. These tools empower users to express their needs, interact with others, and navigate daily life more independently. Now we have assistive technology mounting and switches. So mounting systems and switch play a crucial role in enhancing accessibility for people with disabilities. Mounting hardware allows devices like tablets, phones, or communication aids to be securely positioned at an accessible height or angle, ensuring ease of use for individuals with limited mobility or dexterity. Switches include adaptive switches, enable individuals to interact with technology by pressing a button, using a sip and puff device, or even with eye movements, making it possible to control devices, communicate, or perform tasks without needing fine motor skills. Together, these tools create a more independent and personalized environment for those with physical disabilities. There you go. Okay, next slide. Where are you? Here we have Assistive Technology Smart Home. And so there's so many just amazing developments right now in terms of smart technology for homes. Smart home technology can greatly enhance independence and quality of life for people with disabilities. Devices like smart lights, thermostats, and door locks can be controlled through voice commands, mobile apps, or switches, making it easier to manage a home environment without physical efforts. Voice assistants like Amazon Alexa or Google Assistant can help users make calls, set reminders, or control appliances hand-free. For individuals with limited mobility or vision, smart tech offers accessibility, safety, and convenience, all tailored to their specific needs. Okay. Here's one of my favorites, Apple Shortcuts, quick ways to get one or more tasks done with an app quickly. Apple Shortcuts can assist people with disabilities by automating tasks and simplifying actions. They can be controlled hands-free with voice commands, reducing the need for physical interaction. For those with cognitive or vision impairment, shortcuts can streamline tasks and adjust device settings. They also help individuals with motor impairments by reducing the number of steps needed to complete an action. Shortcuts work seamlessly with other accessibility features, enhancing convenience and independence in daily routines. And here we have assistive technology exploring creative ideas. So thinking outside the box and creating software and hardware solutions for people with disabilities fosters innovation and greater independence. By designing customized tools and technology such as adaptive devices, accessible apps, and personalized systems, developers can address unique challenges faced by individuals with disabilities. This approach can lead to more intuitive and effective solutions like specialized communication aids, assistive mobility devices, or smart home technology. These innovations help people with disabilities perform everyday tasks, communicate more easily, and engage in social, educational, and professional activities, ultimately improving their quality of life and autonomy. Just to kind of go over this, we've been collaborating with engineering departments from our local high schools and universities. This first image here is the dean of Providence High School, Rodney Meath, and he came to us with um, asking for ideas to support individuals with some type of device that would allow them to access a computer. And so we designed this little device here that actually with a switch brings the computer closer to you if you have a tray table or if you're in a wheelchair. There's so many different types of technology that we really have to kind of think outside the box because a lot of these technologies haven't been created. And so for me, that's the fun part, is figuring out ways to kind of create all of these. So you can see, like, we created some stylus that are malleable, that bend. We created some control devices that control an iPad, but also buttons light up, allowing for better access if you have a vision impairment. Right now, we're working with Providence High School on a device that will rotate an iPad from landscape to portrait and back. So with the click of a switch, it rotates it to portrait, back to landscape. And then on top of that, you saw Jamie in the video, she was using a lot of customized little brushes that are for her specifically, that we created that she could use with her mouth. So I found this quote and I thought it was really fitting for assistive technology in today's world and the assistive technology that we are building that hasn't even been invented yet. But it says, technology is not just about creating new tools. It's about creating new possibilities. With every innovation, we empower those who need it most to live with independence, dignity, and hope. And with that, I want to say thank you, Darlene, for allowing me to present today and to share ideas and things like that in my PowerPoint. And I'm going to open it up to everybody to share what you guys think.
Great. Thank you, Gil. That was a great overview of everything. And now you guys, as I wrote in the chat, we get to pick his brain. So I have things I want to think about, but I'll let others get started first. So Debbie's asking, and we might need more information on this, but let's go with it. Can you describe how you have assisted individuals with varying levels, intermittent, unreliable, and/or insufficient speech? So she's thinking specifically of autistic individuals without specific motor or visual challenges.
What are visual challenges? Can you give me a little more detail on that?
Without, yeah, I think you do. I think we need a little more, Debbie. She says without specific motor or visual challenges. So oh, here she comes. Okay, better idea. Let's talk to Debbie ourselves.
Yeah.
Go for it, Debbie.
Okay, hang on, I'll show up here for you. Hi.
Hi, Debbie.
Hi. I have an adult son who's 38, autistic, and he definitely has language, and we've relied upon that language, and yet it's he could definitely be assisted to help identify when he needs help, you know, to ask out there or to say, you know, he needs a difference. He needs something different than what's happening. He needs some assistance to help him from going into behaviors that I truly believe that he could identify. We need to help him move to something that would be easier for him to communicate about what he needs at those points where he's getting stressed. So that's kind of it. Ask me any question you want.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my understanding is like when you're getting frustrated and stuff, that behavior is this wanting to communicate, and that could be pretty frustrating. Have you tried any types of simplified communication apps like chatterboards or things like that?
We have always, I'll try to back up here a little bit. He's definitely a visual person, and we have always used visual means of helping schedule. I'm about the only one who has ever just sat down with him, and I'm trying to understand what he's thinking, and I'm trying to explain something at the same time, so we can kind of go back and forth, and we might draw pictures or we might write something. But what I feel like he hasn't had an option when he is with people who are not me to know what to do and have the other person know what to do with him. And that's been the big challenge, I think, in adult life, is as a more limited communicator verbally, how can he be with just anybody? It's like he needs a system. And we're trying to move back in a direction that probably could have, should have been started a million years ago with him. And we did kind of start it, but it was back during the time when facilitated communication was like the thing. And then it became, oh my God, he's going to be verbal, so don't go that direction anymore. You know, so there were some stalls in actually implementing a system with him as he was, for the most part, effectively communicating, except when he has some big needs that he's starting to get stressed about.
Yeah.
So did you, the facilitated communication, that's my thing. So I'll just jump in real quick. Did he benefit from facilitated communication? Like he spelled things out?
He did. He did at a pretty young age. And it was during that time when I think, for the most part, with speech and language field, that it was felt that, well, if he's developing language, he's going to go for the easiest thing. So just, you know, keep with the language stuff. So we didn't really I'll just show you an example, if I can find it here. We had some things like this, you know, it's like, well, let's have him point to, but we never totally got it implemented, because I think it's a combination of, is he detecting an internal state that he needs something right now? And so does he know that I want, or I don't want, or I need a break, I need help? So it never got, this was way back from like first grade, you know, time. It never got fully implemented.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so I put in the chat I still want to go back to Gil because I want to pick his brain myself, but I did put in the chat a link to a opportunity that I've recorded a lot of lectures rather, from me.
Okay.
And one of them is on being a communication partner and how to be a communication partner, which I think is key here.
Yeah.
And then the other is on the power of communication, which has a lot to do with people who end up having to use their behaviors or their emotions to communicate with us rather than us. And it's in a nutshell, it typically, I think, it isn't about a person saying that he has a want or he has a need. It's about a person telling us what the solution is. What is it they're thinking they could need? So whereas we will say to a person, oh, you need to say you're mad or you need to say you're happy or whatever. That no, he doesn't. He just said that. He needs to say why he's upset. So I need to leave the room. I need to have everybody be quiet. I need to go under the blankets right now. Whatever the story is. So there's the power of communication session talks about that a lot. And so it's free. Just it's recordings. They're like little classes.
And Darlene, can I
Yeah,
ask you, I'm looking at the chat right now. I see something from a final draft, like a document, and then I see a link to Go Kindred Passion.
that's the one. Yeah,
Okay.
gokindredpassion.io. And so it's yours for the taking, and just download it or put it on your web browser and see what you can learn to increase communication that way too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
And
I thank you for this.
whoops, you muted yourself.
Sorry.
Hang on, go again. Thank you for
I
this.
I know that he is, it's like when he gets to the upset mode, then something's not going well. And we know for the most part they are sensory type issues. Truly, it's sensory type issues, or it's I would say cognitive or executive functioning wise. It's like stuff's going too fast. We need to slow down. He needs
Right.
to understand. So it's really clear that
Yep.
those are the kind of things. So we've been working with him simultaneously now with trying to communicate at that point where he's starting to recognize internally that he's amping up or he's going into the yellow zone, whatever language you want to use on that one. So we are working with him on that piece of it, but a big piece is, okay, what do we do from here? Because he needs to be able to communicate something. How is he going to communicate it before he blows, kind of thing? And we think he can do it. We just got to find the right way to address it.
Yeah.
Watch that video, and I think you'll get some good ideas.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, thanks
I
for
think
the.
I think for answering Debbie's is like, is he using any type of technology to communicate?
And he's not using anything all the time. He's using his voice.
Okay.
He can communicate with writing. He can write emails. He can respond to text messages, things like that, definitely. Yeah.
Does he have an iPhone or?
Doesn't have an iPhone. He has a cell phone, but not an iPhone. Yeah.
Because I'm thinking like to test out something would be to use the Apple shortcuts to create a symbol-based system on, let's say, the iPhone. So it could just be a page of some basic symbol-based communication that he can actually prescribe for himself. Like, I'm starting to feel this. I'm starting to feel this. I need a quiet environment. And we can just create those little symbol-based shortcuts on the phone where he can just tap and it just says it for him. He doesn't have to go searching. He just taps and plays it. And then you would have so let's find a solution. So that could be a really good first step to supporting him to have instant communication.
That's a great idea because I think he can do this. I think we just need to be smart about how do we help him detect and communicate, I'm starting to feel.
Yeah. And then making it easy, right? Simple, straightforward to the task.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks. Hey, Gil,
Yes.
Alvar has a question about iOS, about the shortcuts, and so do I. So if I share my screen here, can you walk us through how to set up a shortcut?
Sure.
Because you make it sound like it's pretty easy.
It takes, there's a little learning curve, but it's not like, programming, building an
Okay.
app or something.
I think it would be fun to, and it'd be useful because I think that, like you're just saying with Debbie, that would be awesome.
Okay.
And let me just share mine. You're going to walk me through it just as you'd be walking through somebody else.
Okay. This is on the fly.
Yeah, I like this learning.
All right.
Okay, so here's my shortcuts.
Okay, so first off, you kind of have to figure out like what is your shortcut? What is
So
that
let's use
shortcut gonna
Debbie's
do?
example. Let's use Debbie's example.
Okay, so let's do something like, okay, so we're going to create a shortcut that's going to say, hey, I'm feeling a little frustrated, right? Okay, I need some space. So what we'll do is we'll just tap that plus sign right here. And so now what we want to do is we got this search menu down here, these search options. And what you want to type into that search actions category there is text to speech. Let's see if anything shows up. So nothing shows up. Let's type, let's go back and say text. Okay, so do we see anything dictate text? So when you start to type in words here, you start to see all these different types of options that you have. So let's go in speak. Let's type in speak. Speak text. So there, that looks like something we would want, right? And so let's tap on speak text. And so now we have speak text in this little area. We can tap on where it says text, and we can type in there, I'm feeling a little frustrated. I need some space. There we go. And now we're going to tap outside the window there, like right below the cursor, so we can exit out of the text to speech there, or the speak text. So just tap outside there.
I'm afraid.
Anywhere on the, or actually, let's go up to the very top. See where the down arrow, that little triangle type of thing,
This
right?
one? Oh, up here.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Let's rename it.
Okay.
So we're gonna, what do we want to rename this?
Frustrated.
Frustrated, okay.
Okay.
Okay, we got a X frustratedly here. There
Okay.
you go. All right, so we're gonna tap outside the window there, anywhere like above the keyboard. There you go. See how it goes back?
Okay.
So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go back up and tap that little arrow again, right next to frustrated, and we're gonna say add to home screen. So here's where we could actually do a couple of things. There, you have an option for selecting icons. So if you drag the screen up a bit, down below, you have an assortment of icons that you could actually use. So there may be a frustration. I don't think there is at this time, but at some point in the
We'll
future.
use the emergency. We'll use this emergency one.
Okay. Another option here would be to actually go online and find a symbol-based icon where maybe it's showing a little character that's frustrated. When you find something like that, you can actually save the image to your photos library on your phone, and then you can go back and choose that image.
Okay.
We don't have that right now, but let's choose an emergency.
Okay, so I got emergency. Okay.
So let's tap on that. Is it working?
Yeah, and then I hit add.
Yes.
Yeah, it's highlighted.
Mm-hmm. And now there's first frustrated. Now let's tap frustrated. Did it sound?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I didn't hear
Did
it,
you
but
guys?
it sounded.
Well, it sounded. You guys can't hear it because I didn't put the sound on my share. But so that button is there as in frustrated.
Frustrated.
I'm feeling a little frustrated. I need some
Mhm.
space. That's what it's
And so
saying.
it's as simple as that. So for someone like Debbie's son, you could go on and find all of these little symbol-based icons that show emotions and just create a whole entire page on the smartphone device. And then have each one of those as like a quick communicator. It just
And then
pulls.
does this have anything to do with shortcuts now? I mean, or is it just now that it's not in shortcuts anymore? It's just
So let's
on
go
the home
back to
screen.
shortcuts. So yeah, let's
Okay.
go back to shortcuts.
Where's my shortcuts? There it is.
Yeah, and then let's say done. So now you have in your
Oh,
shortcut
right there.
database, you have the shortcut itself. And so you can actually test it
And it's
out.
talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you could add like a whole thing, like a whole phrase in there if you wanted to. You could
Yeah.
add you could add multiple speak texts. You could do a speak text and have it do something specific like call a family member. So
Hmm.
there's a lot of really innovative things you can do with shortcuts. Um, so yeah,
Wow. That was great.
how's
Okay.
that? Was that short for shortcuts?
That was short for shortcuts, and that
Shortcut.
that makes it less intimidating.
Yeah, yeah. And then there's tutorials that are available. And then in the shortcuts, you have a gallery that has pre-made shortcuts.
Right.
And you can use shortcuts to automate your home. You could use shortcuts to do a lot of really fundamental basic tasks that, for somebody with a disability, like swiping and tapping and searching, it can be tedious just to get to one thing. But with a shortcut, tap, opened it up.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's cool.
super,
Okay,
super awesome.
William's asking, are you vendored with Regional Center or DOR? What does an assessment look like? And what about training the person or team? Systems seem to stop with assistive technology.
Yeah, such a great question. At this time, we are vendored with Tri-Counties Regional Center and Kern Regional Center, and we support individuals within those regional centers. Um, we also support self-determination people within those regional centers, the TCRC and Kern Regional at this time. Hopefully that will open up to more later on down the line. In terms of our assessment, we basically run through, we have 5 documents. We have a one-page description for the individual. We have a relationship map for the individuals. We have a 4+1 for the individual and a technology description of how that person would use the technology. On top of those documents, we do what we call a technology assessment support plan. And that's really figuring out what are the desired outcomes that the person is really trying to achieve. What types of tools is he working with, or he or she? What are the challenges? What do they want to do now? What do they want to do in the future? And what types of devices are you currently using? It goes into like more like, do you have funding, things like that. And then we have another document that's really essential also. It's called the Individual Environment Task and Tool. And that one is really it's a little more deep, it's more finite in terms of figuring out what environment are you using your technology in. So it could be a couple of environments. It could be at home where you operate your smart technology at home, and it could also be at work where maybe you're using an Apple Watch to stay on task, stay on course. So figuring out like how you're using those devices in each one of those environments and how we can better support you using those devices. I think here's a really kind of key piece here. Over my years of experience, I see that like you could do great things at a day service, but when the individual or the person gets home and it's the weekend, those things may not be happening. Maybe the device isn't set up properly, or maybe it just isn't set up, and that could be really frustrating. So one of our goals at PathPoint is to really tie in all environments. So that means tying in the day service, helping the staff know how those devices are utilized and how they work, so that the staff themselves are trained on how to better support a person. We all are also looking at how is that device working at home? How can we actually help the family or the individual learn and help the person in that home environment utilize that device. And that includes training the staff, making sure that they have the proper training. And then when it gets into the community, I think this really kind of ties into like how we are utilizing our community access. You know, like if a person uses the device in the community, I think it's important to let whoever it is that may be interacting with them know that this is how I communicate. So now your community is becoming more aware of how you're communicating, and how important that device is to you to communicate. So you're really community integration is taking place there. And not only are you communicating, but the person that is communicating with you is learning more about assistive technology, disabilities, and communication. So it's really those three types of environments are, from my experience, are extremely critical to achieve. That's where you get the full solid circle of support.
Great. That's how we think here too. Tommy asks, thank you, she says, thank you, Gil. We are beginning to design a backyard ADU for our son. He has 24/7 support, but we would love ideas to consider for technology that can help him to have some time alone for short periods of time when possible, as well as considerations for durability, like wall mounts and stuff. And so her son has autism and he's mobile. He walks around and stuff. So just to know that. But I think I think you're thinking of security or support, Tommy. I'm not positive.
Yeah,
But
I'm just thinking in terms of, you don't always want somebody right next to you all the time and that sort of a thing. So I know cameras are an option, but I don't know. I'm trying to think outside the box. So anything that is for safety and independence and privacy, and then also durability in terms of if there are things out and about, sometimes they're not, they don't always stay in one piece. So that just happens. Sometimes it's rough. So anyway.
Yeah, that's a because you want to give as much independence as possible, without um, so cameras are one thing. If is the person just kind of wandering in the backyard, or it's just in around the entire house, or?
no, he's going to have his own space in their backyard, like a house,
Oh, okay.
his own ADU.
Okay. So what I mean, you can definitely little door alarms if you want to know who's coming in and out. You can definitely do cameras. I know that webinar I was at, there was a GPS that was that fit in the heel of a shoe. If you needed to make sure that a person was safe, those were things that were being invented. Um, um,
How about like an intercom so that like you could well through Ring, you can talk
oh yeah,
and like from their house to his house, right? And
uh-huh.
just
Yeah, intercom
that
system.
might be helpful.
Yeah, Ring intercom systems. That's pretty basic. Um, it's dinner time, something like that, right? And so yeah, those are some ideas, but I'd have to sit down with that one too. This is where you can actually utilize some smart technology in the home, and that is smart technology today. It just keeps advancing. So yeah, does that help, Tammy?
Sorry. Yeah, thank you. I think smart technology is definitely kind of the direction of what I was trying to think of. And I'm not, there's so many things out there that I'm not aware of. But yeah, all right. Well, maybe we'll.
And you can use and then again, you can use Apple shortcuts to do specific tasks if it's like a multiple action type of thing to turn on something to let them know that you're there and things like that. You can use an Apple shortcut too.
Yeah, or even reminders or just,
Oh,
like sometimes you need body coaching or reminders or different things. And it would be interesting if that could actually be something someone could give themselves instead
oh
of
yeah. I'm a big advocate for the Apple Watch because the Apple Watch has that haptic touch, and so it vibrates on your wrist. You cannot help but not feel that. It's not startling, but it's like, oh, the Apple Watch. And so the Apple Watch can integrate with calendar events, reminders, things like that. So if there are reminders, it would buzz up, and then you can, that's the reminder to do this. Or you can even call. You can make a phone call and then answer the call with your Apple Watch.
Okay,
Those are
so
the things.
so here's my idea. I don't know if this exists, but I live under the premise that if I can think of something, probably someone else already thought of it and invented it. So is there a way, wouldn't it be cool, like if someone didn't have communication, like Debbie's son or Tommy's son, didn't have effective communication, but they had their little noises that they made that told us different things. Like, this is a, I need some help. This is a, I'm gonna bolt in a minute here, or this is a leave me alone noise, you know?
Mhm.
Wouldn't it be cool if Alexa could recognize those sounds and then give you a prompt?
Yep, and that's happening.
Is it?
Yeah, that's happening right now. I
See, I'm
mean,
telling you, this is how it works. Yeah.
there was a project by Google called Google Euphonia. So if you look up Google Euphonia, they
Euphonia.
were testing communication through sound. And so you could make a specific sound, and that specific sound would then, communicate something specific that the person is saying. That's definitely coming down the line. But Google Euphonia was one of the first companies to start to develop that software.
And how do you spell euphonia? Is it EU?
Yeah, EU, and then
EU. Okay.
yeah,
Euphonia. Okay. So this is something we can Google and
yeah,
find out
Google,
where they're at with it.
yeah, and then I know Amazon Alexa was working on that stuff too, that software.
Okay.
So in today's world, the AI stuff, and then all of the
Yeah.
programming is just getting so much easier to create. It's just like, it blows my mind. I can't even fathom like how AI is going to even play its role in the life of a person with a disability, but I know it's going to be good. It's one of those things. It's just like, wow. So,
Yeah. Because
so
I'm thinking of Tommy, your son, and if he's like making that intense noise that we could record and teach euphonia, and then tell euphonia he does this when blah blah blah, right? We tell him the definition, and then we could put in here's some helpful ideas, and it could say, hey, you might want to breathe, or you might want to, I don't know. I think it might be interesting.
yeah, yeah.
Interesting. Interesting.
These are the really fantastic things to think about, because it's
Yeah.
possible. I mean,
Yeah.
the stuff is there. It's just like, how do we access it? How do we create it?
Cool. So Alvar's asking, thanks, Tommy.
Thank you.
Alvar's an AAC user. He uses a wheelchair and has very limited movement right now. I'll just say this for you. His ability to move his body is regressing. Okay.
Hmm.
So, and I'm sure there's more technical ways to describe it, but that would be you, Alvar. You could, if you want to talk about that. So he's asking, can use iOS shortcuts with no speech and motor impaired. How to set up Apple built-in eye gaze. So he's wanting to know, how do you set up Apple built-in eye gaze?
That's a really good question. There is probably some type of calibration settings within the eye gaze. I know that Apple's been in and out over the years with the eye gaze. Sometimes it's there and they're testing it out in an operating system, and then it goes away. But it's here now again. So if you look on your phone in the accessibility settings with this new operating system, eye gaze is there. There's going to be most likely a setup process to access and set up the eye gaze to calibrate your eye to the camera of the device, of your phone or your iPad. So if you go into your accessibility settings and look at eye gaze, there are some options. So you can turn eye tracking on. You can turn on the smoothness of it. You can turn it to snap. So if you're looking, it's going to snap across. Zoom in on keys, so you can actually zoom in and bring the keyboard up and look at the keyboard. You can do an auto hide, so it will fade out the eye gaze when you're not using it. And then there's also dwell control. So dwell control is when you look at something for a period of time, maybe a second, 2 seconds, and it activates and opens up the application. I would test that out. The one thing about the eye gaze, if you're still in your chair or wherever you may be, the stillness totally matters, because that just you can focus now. The infrared is hitting your eye, and you're able to move it around. The little cursor or the little round thing. It depends on how you're setting up the accessibility features, but that is possible. On top of that, another option is to use the switch scanning. And if you have minimum range of motion to, like if you can click a switch with your cheek, like Jamie was in the video, or if you have minimum range of motion and you can move your finger a tiny bit, you could use a proximity switch. And the proximity switch you don't have to press down on it. It's just if your finger comes within the proximity of the sensor, it activates the switch. So that could be another way to gain control over your device. So you have two ways. You have eye gaze or switch scanning. And switch scanning you could set it so you can just kind of go across. Here's switch scanning right here. So you can scan automatically. You could set the auto scanning to seconds, or however many seconds you need time to get from one place to the next. You can add a bunch of just different types of switches. So if you go up to the top, Darlene, where it says switches right there, where it says 0, in here you could say add new switch, and you can have a bunch of different types of switches do a bunch of different things. You can put multiple switches. You do need an interface to connect the switch to an iPad. I would recommend a Tapio by Origin Instruments. That's been around for a while, and it's been dependable.
And are you saying Capio with a C or Tapio with a T?
With a T.
Tapio.
Tapio
Okay.
by
Okay,
Origin
thanks.
Instruments.
Okay.
I like the Tapio versus like a Bluetooth, because if your Bluetooth fails, you really don't. You have to get help to reconnect the Bluetooth. Or I like the Tapio because it's hardwired, and it's just a lot more dependable.
Okay.
Does that help?
Let me see what Alvar said. Hang on. Okay, so if he wanted to use the shortcuts in the app, in the his phone or his iPad, can he then use his eye gaze to activate the shortcuts?
Yep.
Well, there
Because
you
the
go,
eye
Alvar.
gaze is an application, or the eye gaze is the shortcuts is an application. So once you definitely could. You could just be creating your own shortcuts, Alvar.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Let's
there's
see if he
videos
said anything.
online and stuff too that you could, if you need specific types of shortcuts.
He was saying built-in eye gaze inaccurate and frustrating when tried before. Maybe try switch while waiting for TD I13. Thanks.
Yeah, I would recommend that. I would start off with a switch, Alvar. I would do a Tapio with the switch, and then maybe, depending on your accessibility and your mobility, to click a switch with your cheek, or a proximity switch with something that you can move close to the proximity switch. I would try those two things.
Very cool. Okay, good. Those are great. I don't even know what time. Okay, so let's look. Let's see. Yeah, so people were asking about the shortcuts. So I put in the chat, it's an actual app that you download. It's free
It's
on
free.
your from your Apple store. Okay, your App Store. So download that, and then it will look like what my phone looked like. And okay, so Sheila was asking, do you have a list of all the great apps to use for assistive communication?
I do on our PathPoint webpage in the our Assistive Technology section. There will be a list of a bunch of different types of things that are usable or can be used. So we're in the process of building up that list and things. So that will be a resource. Here's one thing you can do. So this is using AI, maybe Chat GPT, is to go into Chat GPT and type in like, I'm looking for a communication app with an iPad such and such year. And you could put in all your needs and ask the AI to search it for you. You'll be pretty amazed. And this is one of the benefits of AI. It's just that it really kind of cuts to the chase to find that one thing you need.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm sure you all hear that like AI, a double-edged sword type of thing, but this is really.
It is, but you can use it.
Mm-hmm.
I think when using AI, the trick is to just say exactly what you need. Thinking about communication devices, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like in your system. I needed to be able to scan with a switch. I needed to be able to use eye gaze. I need to be able to point to and touch the icons. Or I need to be able to put in my own photos. Or I needed to work on a phone or iPhone versus an iPad. Whatever exactly what you want it to do.
Mm-hmm.
I needed to have good speech quality or choices of voices or anything like that. And then look and see what you get as an answer. It'll probably be a good one.
Yeah, it'll blow you away. And
But if you
it's
just
getting
say, give
better.
me an AAC val, get choices, it's going to give you generic, but be specific. It will go there for you.
Yeah. And then you can
Yeah.
keep adding things to it. So you can come back to
Mm-hmm.
that list later on and say, oh, add this to this list. And then it will generate a new list for you.
Mm-hmm. And Erica put the PathPoint assistive technology link in the chat here for you guys,
So
so you can
excellent. Thank
grab
you,
it.
Erica.
Yeah, thanks. Let's see what else. Okay, Debbie was saying, wouldn't it be cool if the changing states of the ANS could be picked up and communicated? I know HeartMath has a system where heart rate variability is detected and a clip on the earlobe, but perhaps this could be done with a smartwatch device.
Can you give me a little more detail on the ANS stuff?
Yeah, I don't know what ANS is either. Here comes Deb. Okay. Go for it, Debbie.
Autonomic nervous system.
Autonomic nervous system. Okay. I was thinking it was an app, but I'm like, I don't know that one. Okay.
I'll have to dig into that one because that's a new one for me, Debbie.
You know, I thought that someone was developing something years ago. Man, it was just a prototype thing. I don't know if it ever came to be, but I thought you're onto something, buddy.
Yeah, because it detects whatever it is, would be detecting a shift between the sympathetic parasympathetic system long before verbalization or behaviors hitting the road.
Right.
So yeah.
Now
HeartMath,
maybe heart rate might fit in there. Maybe
well,
that starts to change.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's getting off into a realm I wouldn't know that much about, but I know HeartMath, which is a company that developed an app where you yourself can work with moderating or modifying your own heart rate variability, which is an indicator of how well you can shift from an overly excited state to a calmer state, basically. But that it's kind of old at this point. And they used a thing that they would attach to your earlobe, and it would monitor what your heart rate variability is, which is the measure of how much flexibility you have in your system to shift. Yeah.
This is where an Apple Watch is actually going to be kind of be that instrument in terms of monitoring your monitoring your health in terms of that way. Because right now you can monitor your heart rate, your stress, your sleep. I mean, you can monitor quite a bit of stuff. So that's definitely coming down the line.
Mm-hmm.
If you do a little research on, again, this is where you can actually just chat GPT it and then bring up like, will an Apple Watch work with that ANS?
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking it could be something where you're actually even helping the person identify as they're starting to go into a state, something that could alert them a little more clearly for themselves. So they're starting to detect that internal shift. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
I think that's definitely coming down the line. There was a company out there that was testing out um, um, something like that in terms of autism and having an episode in terms of autism, and so they were testing out this algorithm within a watch device to kind of sense like, oh, something's coming on, or seizure may be coming on, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's I got to dig in a little more on that one, Debbie. That's a great one. I mean, you
There was
have
some behaviorist person. I forget. I can remember at the taco conference there was a man walking around and he was talking about something he was creating. I don't know. I'm going to pay attention better next time and write it down in a place where I won't forget. It was a prototype though, but it was along this line.
yeah. I mean, you have dogs that animal dog
Yeah.
that help you if you have
Mm-hmm.
like seizures. They
Mm-hmm.
sense it,
Mm-hmm.
like what is that? What is that piece that the dog senses, right? And so
you. Hmm.
sure science is working on that one right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Debbie. Nice to meet you.
Okay, anything else? Let's see, let's see, let's see. I think that's all of the questions in the chat here. If anybody else has anything else, now I'm trying to remember. Oh, I know. I wanted you to talk about the mounts a little bit. You had told me last night that you felt like mounts had taken a turn for the better
Hmm.
because of COVID. And so I was curious what that means to you and all.
Yeah, like prior to COVID, mounting devices for iPads, for wheelchairs or just standing mount systems weren't really readily available. But once COVID hit, people started developing like stands that would hold a device up, like an iPad or iPhone, and they were putting those in hospitals because once you go into the hospital with COVID, there's no way to connect or you can't have family members coming in, right? And so what they were doing was making these mount systems on rolling wheels. So you just put your iPad there, and that's how families were communicating.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Beyond COVID, I've seen more and more that companies are developing more types of devices for iPads in terms of stands, in terms of mounting systems. I think two of the best mounting companies out there, definitely Manfrotto, which have been around for a while. AbleNet's been selling Manfrotto products twice as much as they really cost at when you go to a photo store, but they're the same thing.
Now, what are they called? What's it
Manfrotto.
called?
It's
Man
photograph. Man,
photo.
Manfrotto.
Manfrotto. Okay.
Manfrotto. Yeah, they're a camera company that's been around for a while. A
Okay.
lot of the companies like AbleNet, they were selling the
Mm-hmm.
Manfrotto super clamps
Mm-hmm.
and arms, magic arms,
Mm-hmm.
at almost 3 times as much. But a Manfrotto super clamp really only costs about $30, but they would mark it
Oh,
up.
wow.
People would mark them up, and that's
Oh,
what I've seen in the past.
good to know.
Um, Manfrotto is one of the best companies that I would suggest, and then RAM mounts, RAM
RAM.
RAM RAM and mounts. They are They've been around for a while now. I think they came around COVID from when I discovered them. But they make mounting systems for police cars. They make mounting systems for wheelchairs, accessibility
Mm.
systems. They make mounting systems for motorcycles. They make mounting systems for dirt bikes,
Mm.
mountain bikes. So I mean, you got to have a pretty good mounting system if you're on a mountain bike or a dirt bike, right? And so
Mhm.
these things work really well. They grip, they don't come off. They're fantastic.
So
Um,
Tommy, that might be something you want to look at for the ADU. Maybe look into RAM mounts. Maybe there's something we can rig up.
mhm.
Yeah, I'll have to make a note of that. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a good, those are good tips. Um, okay, let's see, what else? What else was I thinking that I wanted to make sure we covered? Mostly it was the shortcuts and the mounts. Um, uh, oh, I wanted to know, we have a couple more minutes, and when I was watching the video of Jamie,
Mhm.
um, how does she make her own videos? Does she do this for a job? How long does it take her to do these things? I was just very curious about how skilled she was with the editing.
Oh yeah, like I taught her how to edit on an iMac using iMovie. And
Okay.
she was using a software called Switch XS by
Mm.
Assistive. It's no longer around. It's a legacy product. If you're running an older operating system, like something like El Capitan, Apple El Capitan, you could run the Switch XS. Um, but one of the reasons why they no longer are working with Switch XS is because Apple basically has the same type of software
Mm.
in their accessibility Mac OS system, and where you can create panels that have specific things that move your mouse in specific ways or double clicks, things like that. Something we didn't get into today in terms of Mac OS, but there's a lot of really cool things there too. But I taught her how to do all of that, and then through that Switch XS program, she was able to go into the timeline, grab a clip, drag it down into the movie timeline, and then put all these little clips together. And
That's
then
so great.
yeah, it took a little bit of time, but she loves movies. Like you could see in the video, like, what are you doing,
Hmm.
Jamie? I'm making a movie. And
Yeah.
yeah, she loves that. That's her go-to. She loves movies, and so yeah, she still edits on her iPad, not as much as she used to, but yeah, it took us a little bit of time, but
Hmm.
she where there's a will, there is a way. And so
Hmm.
when I first started working with Jamie, I showed her what this Switch XS software could do and showed her how you click the switch and it moves this. And then I just said, you work with this for like a half hour and I'll be back. But I was watching from behind the scenes there. And what was happening was amazing because she's clicking, she's figuring it out, she's clicking, figuring it out. And then
Mm.
I come back like a half hour later and she had already figured like out how to move the mouse and do a bunch of things.
So
And that
great.
was maybe around 2007, and it's
Mm.
been forward march ever since. There's times where she'll plateau, and that's when I know, like, oh, we gotta adjust the settings, maybe adjust the speed, maybe do this. And so I would do that, and then she'd stretch and do more, until
Hmm.
she keep advancing. And then COVID hit. You know, you could in the video you could see that she was really I'd be mad if I didn't have my iPad during COVID, and I think we all kind of feel that way too. It's like I'd go mad, um, but
Yeah.
you can see that like I'm sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. That yeah, that iPad is yeah meant it means everything. It's that's her outlet. If you can imagine not having that access for about 40 years, maybe 45 years, then all of a sudden you can access the world in that way. It's just amazing.
There's probably a lot of people on the call here who can't imagine that. How you
Yeah,
guys?
sure. It's
Yeah.
like
You guys are living it. Yeah.
yeah. And to some people, it may be like, oh, they're always on that iPad. Like, well, but if you didn't have it for a long time, there's some time to make up there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, she's been like, yeah, she's been an amazing person that's she's pushed me beyond my own boundaries to figure things out.
Isn't that
So
great?
yeah, definitely.
Awesome.
Anybody else have any question? William had, what about AI creating a more human sounding voice for AAC or
Oh,
even
there you go.
our own voice? Yeah, AI. I mean, if you go over into the Chat GPT stuff and listen to, you do a little search and then have it read to you, the voice is realistic. And so those voices at some point will make their way into our devices. I'm not sure why they're not even here yet, but yes, William, yeah, those are coming. But you checked out those voices.
Yeah, you would think that if they could just make an app for communication that's going to have voice output, and if you could just drop in the voice that you wanted it to be with a URL code or something like that.
Mhm.
I don't know what it would have to be, but something like that, and then done talking about it.
Yeah, then you have your own voice. Well, one of the
Yeah.
things that's happening is that somebody with like Lou Gehrig's disease or something who's
Mhm.
going to eventually lose their voice,
Right.
they're recording their
Record it.
voice into a system, and I think you might be able to do that now on the iPhone or
I thought
using an app.
yeah, it's coming. Yeah, if it's
Yeah,
not
so
here yet.
that's amazing.
And people talk about, like, sometimes people will have their siblings or their parents
Mhm.
record their voices and then kind of synthesize, because we all kind of sound like our parents, families, they do sound the same. Um, and so if you don't have speech, then, and you never did, you could use that and have something that you kind of tweak to make it yours, but it comes from the same place as the family does.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
William, I'm super excited about that. Yeah. What if, like, when I'm long and gone, I could just leave my voice and then they can apply it to, I don't know, like a
It could be Gil.
AI robot dog or something like that. Like, and he just talks. Hey, how you doing? So
Yeah,
anyway,
there's nothing worse than getting in a room with a bunch of AAC users and everybody sounds like Ryan. And you're like, who said that?
is that true, Ryan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not you, Ryan. The
Oh,
Ryan.
cool.
The
Nice to meet you,
AAC
Ryan.
voice, Ryan.
Yeah.
Do you work with
Anybody
Ryan
else?
too?
Pardon?
Do you work with Ryan as well?
No, I don't. But nice to meet you, Ryan. I would love to meet you and see what you do. I'm
Yeah.
always wanting to learn from everyone. You guys can teach me some new tricks to
Yeah.
AAC. Yeah.
Erica said the PathPoint mascot Sedgwick will speak with Gil's voice.
Oh yeah. There we go. We have a little mascot. He's like a unicorn with a rainbow horn. He's a is he like a fish or something,
He's a
Erica?
narwhal.
Oh yeah. What is he called?
A narwhal.
Oh, a
Narwhal.
narwhal. He's a
Narwhal.
narwhal.
Yeah.
That's a fish
Okay.
with a unicorn horn. Yeah.
Yeah. He's cool. He's cool. Yeah, we could put my voice in him. We could have a whole band.
Yeah. And William said, yeah, there's too many Ryans out there.
Oh yeah.
It does
Yeah.
get difficult,
Yeah.
especially on Zoom.
Yeah. Stephen Hawking, did you know that he patented that voice? So that is his voice from his device.
Ryan is?
Stephen Hawking, when he was
But
around.
but did he patent Ryan or he patent his own voice?
He patented that voice that was on his device.
Oh, on his device.
On
Okay.
his device, yeah.
So there was only his.
It was only his. Yeah.
That's what it takes, William.
Yeah.
You got to get your voice set up through AI and then patent it. So no one else can be William Del Rosario.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
I like the interpreter. Ernest is narwhals are whales with a tusk.
That's right. I call it a unicorn horn, but it's a tusk. You're right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Gil, this was great.
Thank you.
Great
Thank you for having
opportunity.
me.
Thank you so much
Yeah, you're really
for
welcome.
everything.
You're welcome. Thank you guys for inviting me. I could chat all day. This is fun stuff for me. Like just thinking outside the box, figuring things out. So here, let me do this. I'm going to drop that last slide that was in the slide.
Yeah.
Let me just make sure. Hey, where are you? Nope, that's not it.
They added the whole PDF earlier in the chat, Gil.
Yeah,
Okay.
I sent that
So you,
over to you.
so yeah, so you even with all else fails, open up the PDF once it gets posted, which will be posted with the recording,
Mm-hmm.
and then go to the last slide, and that's got their information on there.
Yeah.
Sonia says thank you for all the great information.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah, lots of thank yous. So, but yeah, this was great. This was, you were on my list for a long time to get connected with. I'm so happy that you did. Okay, so for the rest of us, in May, we will meet again on the third Tuesday of the month, which I think is May 20th. And so we'll see you at 4 o'clock on that day. But if you can go to any of the rallies in any of the communities that we're supporting, we're putting those on in, please join us. If not, definitely get your DVU newsletter. Make sure you read it. And because there's going to be tips and things and ideas that you can talk to whoever you need to let your needs be known so that we can try and make a difference here. Thanks for the post there. There it is. Week of Disability Action. Those are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days of action coming up next week. Yep, next week. And then once the vote happens, then we'll stop talking about it for a little bit until we get the next idea that we got to get working on, because probably there's going to be more to work on. But let's stay positive and think that we're going to get everybody's needs are going to be met. But we have to stay aware. We have to stay vigilant. We have to stay not in a bad vigilant way, but in a committed way. In that, don't forget to keep up on it, kind of a way is what I mean. We're not done talking about it. Okay. So you got to keep your Medicaid and all your other services. I want to thank our interpreters and Gil and Erica as well. And I want to thank Eric behind the scenes for us, and William for joining me tonight. And we will see you all next time,
All
or
right.
maybe at the rally.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys.